Hello and welcome everyone, it's David, aka Faramir 4731, and I'm bringing you a tournament match, and this is going to be for our Empire Total War Finland tournament group. And in this match it's myself and Rick, who is also known as Joker. We're going to be taking on the team Get Scalped, which is Kapi and redcloud, and our team name is the Wolfpack Attack, which is just a name I came up with. And yeah, so this is definitely a match that we were excited to play. redcloud and Kapi are two very good opponents, so we were definitely looking forward to this match. And in here, the first of the match, you can see that Kapi is going to bring his cav right over the top of the hill to face me, where what I'm doing is I'm pushing out. I'm going to try and smash right into the center of Kapi's lines and force him to bring all of his units off that hill and to me, where I can shift all my units easily to face his units coming off the top of the hill. At least that's the plan. So this recording is from a live recording that I had done from the game. So unfortunately I didn't get a chance to save the game file, so I'm not going to be able to go back and show you a little bit more detail, so you don't really get to see a lot of the footage of what's happening on Joker's side on the bottom part of the hill versus redcloud. But you'll see a lot of the action that takes place between myself and Kapi, and the supporting flank that Rick has on my immediate right. So you can see here the plan is to just push hard on Kapi. So I'm trying to, again, I'm trying to push as many units as I can straight ahead at that center, and then force his envelopment of my left to come down and try to push on my flank, where I can easily shift my units up to meet him. But because I'm trying to push so hard, I'm not able to concentrate on my flank. At the very back, you can see on the bottom left of the screen where my cav is to protect me. I wasn't expecting him to be as aggressive as he was. So I thought he'd be a little more cautious. So I'm just kind of, going about my business, going oot-de-doo, and little did I know he's going to really push extremely aggressive on me here. So I was a little unprepared for what's about to happen. So I've got to do quite a bit to shift to get ready for the shock of what precedes the next few moments. Okay, so you can you can probably see that obviously my general is going to be coming under advanced. As you can look on the mini map, and you can see that there's units, and you can see my flashing general right there. So he's got his dragoons shooting at my general right now, and I'm just stupidly going on about my business. Oh, fuck me. And that's my live reaction to what happened. That pretty much sums it up, because it was pretty disappointing moment for me, because now I've realized that I got a cav unit behind me. As you can see, that red dot right behind our lines right here on the mini map, and I've got to try to figure out how I'm going to deal with that cav behind, and luckily Joker handles that. But I've got to still try to push this attack in the center, and I've got all these damned hand mortars coming at me now. So yeah, that's a pretty disappointing moment, uh, in the game so early. I mean, so darn early before any of the combat has taken place, and it really kind of threw me off my game, which I should have just backed up, regrouped, but I'm just going to get pummeled now in the center here a little bit before I can, get my bearings back. But I really got shook up here a little bit, unfortunately. So, yeah, not so good. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of walk you through what the ideas were. So as you can see, Rick is hitting him in the woodland there at my immediate left flank. So I'm going to try and get back in there and support him in that push, and try to regroup myself, because up at the top left you can see I'm under assault in the trees, getting hit by those damned hand mortars here and it's just then I got archers to deal with. It's like everything but the damn kitchen sink. So I'm gonna try and push up. Um, Honestly, I was out of sorts and I couldn't really remember what was in the tree line. So this is a bad push on my part, and I'm just trying to do too much at once, rather than calm down and figure out. So what I'm doing here in the center is I'm hitting them with all my lights on one unit to try and even up the odds. And you can see here I'm shooting this unit in the tree line with my goons on the left, and I'm going to push my two line in the center to chase his lights. And my goal is to try and push through his lines right here in the trees and at the top. But I didn't realize he had snuck up so many units up there because I was really paying attention. So it's a bad charge on my part. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to push my cav right through all of his lines, and then link up with my pursuing lines for his lights that are running here in the center. You can see my line chasing those lights. So I'm going to try and push those cav through to again hit the lights as they're pulling away. But Kapi really does a good job here, and I think I'm in such a panic that I skirt across at too shallow of a lane. So he's gonna flip a couple of his units down. He's going to shoot me as I make that journey. So I should have pushed further to the back of the screen and then hit him by the back, but my lines weren't really as healthy as I needed, so I was trying to just get there as quickly as possible. Just poorly executed here. It's just hard to watch, honestly. Just as dumb and as bad of a move as it was. So at this point, I'm kind of realizing that it's not going to go as I wanted, because I'm getting shot up by his lights. So I do make contact, and I am going to get some kills off it, but it's just not going to be what I planned on. Because if I was able to break those lights there, I could have probably flipped this around a little bit. But it's just not going to happen the way I had really hoped it would. Yeah, so that was the ridiculous attempt on that. So, again, a couple of the um, uh, moves that are going to happen here. Um, I'm going to, again, I'm still coming under pretty heavy contact on my left flank. So I'm trying to flip that script and go into his hand mortars and grenadiers a little bit to get them off of my little backside here. So I'm going to shift some of my lines up to support this, my immediate left flank. Really, it's the center. So that's kind of what's going on there. Alright, so I've made contact, so now, like I said, I'm just trying to now shift some units up to shoot into that while I go into square. Um, that way I can try to get rid of those units. Now we are having some pretty good success over here into the woodland with the support of Rick's troops there, but I'm going to go ahead and pull back those lines that were getting shot up a little bit, and throw some new lines in and kind of reform a little bit, just so I can try to keep those units as healthy as possible. All right, so yeah. Yeah, this is like I said. I'm okay. So you can see here he's going to start coming down off the woodland. So I'm going to start making a um, my defensive lines. So what I'm doing is I'm getting some volleys off, and I'm just going to fold back the lines, and I've got my other two lines that are a little bit further down the hill to protect my fallback. So what my goal here is now, because I know I'm losing this fight, I'm going to punish him for making an advance. So yeah, okay. So this is I'm just fast forward a little bit. So you can see here I have made it to the tree line. So I was able to, by my basically falling one line behind the other, I was able to make it to the middle of the map. That's where we're at right now. So now Rick is basically to my back, and we're straight across the line, and he has got all of his lights. He outnumbers me in the light game. So Rick's going to bring up a light to support me, and he's got Red Cloud right to his back. So you can see his Russian lines are right to my back, and I'm right to his back. So what they're trying to do is sandwich us in. But I actually do have a little bit of advantage on the right flank, so I'm trying to push that advantage there. Um, just not unfortunately with the best of units. So yeah, so we're going to try and make a push on to Kapi up the hill. As now that I've regrouped with Rick a little bit, we can hopefully make a push on them. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing a line up to back his lights up so I can regroup my lights to start shooting at his long range a little bit. So that line is gonna take a little punishment, but I figure it's better that line gets punished than my lights. So before I can get Rick up to assist me. So here goes my push on the right, and Rick's going to be bringing up some cav to help me. And so yeah, so you can see over here on the left flank too. He's a little exposed, so I'm going to see that. I'm going to try and pincer him a little bit. Because, like I said, I am spread a little bit further than him. So, yeah, so here goes our push on the left, and you can see my two lines on the far right are coming up on him as well. So, again, we're going to try and push up the hill towards Kapi, and this is probably our biggest mistake. We should have not done that. We should have pushed down the hill and pushed after Red Cloud. Okay, so yeah, here you can see I'm still trying to make my advance through the woodlands here, but my units are not in the best of shape. They're pretty tired, so it's going to be pretty rough going. All right, so I'm still making chase over there, and Cappy is folding back, wisely so. So I'm just going to keep pursuing. And again, I think this was our fatal flaw in this game is that we pushed the wrong player. We really should have pushed Red Cloud because we we could have kept the force to at least keep the advance from Cappy at a at bay, and really pushed hard on downhill on Red Cloud, and then we would have had a little bit better ground to defend against whatever we had left of Kapi to fight and whatever units we had left. So, because it is actually going to be a little closer than what I thought, but it honestly we just don't have enough in the morale department because of the loss of the general on my part. So you can see I'm going to push through the woodlands here in the center, and Rick is using his cav, and actually Cappy's doing a pretty good job of defending on the cav, but really Rick's advance is helping tremendously. So you can see we are taking some units down, and I'm going to hit into these units here on the on what's now the right hand part of the screen, but it's my left flank. So, and Rick is coming up right behind me with the remainder of Red Cloud's units coming up in pursuit. Okay, so now on the left-hand side of the screen, which is my right flank, I'm actually the units that were pursuing his lines. I'm actually now starting to lose that fight, just because pursuing uphill, my guys that were already fleeing from him, going down the hill, now are pushing up the hill. So they're getting pretty exhausted. So my guys are already wavering over there. So I'm losing quite a few units. I'm down at this point. I'm down to basically 5 lines and 2 lights, but one of my lights is about to break. So yeah, it's looking pretty grim for me. I'm just hoping I can break Cappy quick enough here at this point. There's a lot of units routing off on both sides, but unfortunately a lot of them are mine. As you can see, more and more it's getting contagious, the routing is. So now I'm down to 4 lines and 1 light, where I was before. So how quickly that whole thing turned. But you can see I'm starting to waver some of his units there. Rick is holding Red Cloud back, but he's about to be right where I'm at now too. So I've got my lights flipped to help shoot the natives as they come up, and now we're starting to thin out here a little bit. Honestly, at this point we're starting to feel a little confident because we're starting to break some units. We're thinking, maybe we could do this, and then when that cav comes over here on the right hand side of the screen, I'm trying to reposition my units, and I mean, I'm sorry, the archers and the cav over there. It's a pretty tough sight to see, so I'm going to try and do my best to hold these units back to give Rick some time, because we're pretty much caught with the pants down here. So I've got the unit on the far side holding that, where this unit is just trying to hold back these units of Cappies on the flank here, just to tie them up, give us enough time to get some units to reform over there. But yeah, it's again, now I'm in full contact with natives at this point, on the right hand side. So I'm gonna go ahead and push through on one of my units. I'm in with the bowman right now, and he's got bowmen behind me starting to shoot at me. So I'm gonna push through the melee with that unit because it's pretty depleted, and I figure once I push through it might rout it, and then I can hit that other unit. So I'm gonna push through that to see if I can break this part of the flank and then go over and help my other unit on the far right. But it's already starting to waver at this point. But that move did have some results. As you can see, my unit and Rick's unit on the right here breaking, but we are breaking some natives over here as well. So I think that was giving us a little bit of confidence, and I did break through. So I got both of those lines in melee with my bulkly, but now I'm just down to my light and a bulkly. We just don't have enough to get this done. Unfortunately, it's just we're just outmatched on this game, tremendously outmatched, and they really kicked our tail. As yeah, so just like I said, this is pretty much going to be wrapped up at this point. Here goes the final death of my lights and the uh, remainder of Rick's units, which I think there's 4 or 5 units left that are going to just be surrounded at this point. So my bulkly just routed, and that's it. It's pretty much a good game. Like I said, real good game to our opponents. Good game for Joker on this one. Really, I made a lot of mistakes on my end that kind of cost us this one, and we'll just hope the next one we can turn it around. So now we're going to be 1-1. Kapi, I think, is at 3-0 at this point with him and redcloud. Yeah, we're going to look for get ourselves back on track against Goat and Chicken for our next match to see if we can elevate our ranking to 2-1. So we'll have to see how that one turns out. And yeah, so this one was a lot of fun, even though it was a tough loss to take. So hope you enjoy. We'll see you on the next one. Please like and subscribe. See you on the next one.